And in our spotlight tonight, the auditions to be Donald Trump's vice president pick are escalating this evening. ABC News has learned three men, these guys, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, Senator Marco Rubio, and Senator J.D. Vance, have all been asked by the Trump campaign for paperwork to vet them as a possible VP pick, sources tell ABC News. ABC News has also learned the campaign has requested information from other GOP notables as well. It's unclear how extensive those requests were. Campaign officials have stressed the final call will, of course, be up to Trump. Let's bring back my panel, Marcia, John, Avery, and joining us is ABC News contributing political correspondent and co-author of Political Playbook, Rachel Bade. Avery, I want to start with you. What do these VP hopefuls have to do? What are the hoops that they have to jump through to even get onto this short list?
I think they have to kiss the ring. I think it's been very apparent in the last few weeks that each of these potential VP contenders have been out. They have been visible in supporting former President Trump amid his legal troubles, amid that hush money trial in New York after the verdict came out. And I think they are all trying to push for him to be reelected and to be elected in November. And so I think that is part of the audition process that we've seen. And I even think it's interesting that, the campaign came out and said that, there were additional VP contenders, and mentioning Tim Scott, Byron Donalds, Elise Stefanik, and former HUD Secretary Ben Carson, that they have also been, given some of these vetting materials and asked for these vetting materials because it is a part of their efforts to continue to have these folks out pushing for them.
John, speaking of folks pushing for the Trump campaign, do you remember this picture? I want to put it up on our screen here. This was outside of Trump's hush money trial in New York. The quote there is just what was said contemporaneously. But if you look at those three gentlemen, they are dressed very similarly. What do you make of the fact that much of this VP conversation has centered around what's going on in court? Who's in front of court? Who's sticking up for Trump near the courthouse or in the courthouse?
Well, I can't decide whether it resembles more a Hunger Games episode or The Apprentice, his TV show. Either one, they're trying to outduel each other to see who can show more a blind loyalty to him and throw more elbows against everyone else that opposes him. And, quite frankly, I'm not sure that's the best way to do it. I'm glad to hear that they're doing a vetting process because they need to. This is a very, very serious choice. But, man, it's kind of amusing to see a lot of my colleagues and the lengths to which we're trying to go to try and catch his attention with praise, unvarnished praise of the former president.
Marcia, we talked about Republicans. Let's talk quickly about Democrats. So you hear Republicans a lot throw this attack out there that they believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is an advantage to them and a drag on the Biden ticket. Is that something you agree with, or do you think that she's underestimated?
Completely agree. I think she's a total asset to the campaign. And look, if Trump were smart, he would pick a woman for his running mate or someone of color. But I don't think it's going to be a woman. I don't think it's going to be anyone who helps him moderately on his positions or helps his image. I think the congressman and Rachel are right. It's going to be whoever is most enthusiastically auditioning for his favors. And look, lastly, just can't ignore the irony of Trump asking them for their financial records. I mean, the late night jokes are writing themselves here.
Rachel, I've been handed a piece of paper just a few seconds ago that says J.D. Vance spoke with reporters and he said Trump hasn't, quote, asked him whether or not he would be a VP pick, obviously not denying that records haven't been requested of him, as was ABC's reporting. What do you make of the fact that two of the names on that, ABC reported shortlist are Hill Republicans like Vance and Rubio?
I mean, look, for these members, of course, going from a member in a 500-plus person body to a VP candidate, potential running mate, that's a big promotion. So obviously this is something they all want. But I think for Trump right now, he's got to decide what does he need his vice president to bring to the table? And from there, he'll be able to choose the best person. If he really needs money, he's probably going to turn to someone like Bergman, who has a lot of wealth. If he wants to reach women, he might turn to Elise Stefanik, who's also from New York and potentially could reach a blue state. So he's just going to have to decide what is it he needs. And if he's smart, he'll turn to someone who can actually deliver for him.
Marcia, John, Rachel, Avery, thank you all very much for your time.